Just weeks after the shocking news of Hulk Hogan's passing, something unexpected happened right in the heart of New York City. A building across from Madison Square Garden lit up with activity, not for a wrestling match, but for something even more personal. While fans around the world were still grieving the loss of one of wrestling's biggest icons, his only son, Nick Hogan, quietly showed up at a brand new bar tied to his father's final days. And this wasn't just any bar, it was Hulk's last project, one he poured his heart into before everything changed. But behind the smiles and construction plans, there's a story that runs deeper, about legacy, loss, and a goodbye that left more questions than answers. Be the icon's final project, before the headlines, before the tributes, and before the world even knew what was coming. Hulk Hogan had been quietly working on something that meant more to him than most people realized. Tucked on a corner in Midtown Manhattan, right across from Madison Square Garden, construction was underway on Slam, a massive 9,000-square-foot bar that wasn't just a business venture, it was a tribute. To outsiders, it might have seemed like just another WWE-themed hotspot, but for Hogan, this was personal. MSG wasn't just a famous venue, it was where everything started. In 1979, he made his WWE debut inside that arena. It's the building where he first stepped into the spotlight, where the chants of "Hogan, Hogan" began echoing through the rafters. And now, more than 4 decades later, he was planning to bring it full circle, building a space for fans to relive those moments, just steps from where they happened. Friends say Hogan was deeply involved. He helped shape the vision, hand-picked details, and poured his energy into making it perfect. It wasn't just about nostalgia, it was about legacy. But tragically, he never lived to see it open. 3. Nick Hogan steps in. In the days following Hulk's passing, much of the wrestling world turned its attention to tributes, memories, and old footage. But behind the scenes, one person was stepping into a very different kind of role: his son, Nick. Just a week after the news broke, Nick Hogan was spotted in New York City, standing in front of Slam, the very bar his father had worked so hard to bring to life. He wasn't there for show. There were no interviews, no public statements, just a quiet visit alongside Hulk's business partner, Rich Rosen. The two were seen smiling as they toured the space, checking on progress, reviewing details, and, for a moment, carrying on the vision Hulk had started. It was a symbolic moment, not just the son of a legend checking in on a project, but the start of something deeper. Nick, who's mostly stayed out of the spotlight in recent years, was now tied to the one thing that might outlive even his father's most iconic matches: a legacy brick and mortar, built by Hulk's hands and heart. But there was something else going on that week, something bigger than just one bar. The bar that honors a legacy. For most celebrities, a bar is just a side hustle, something with a name slapped on it, and little involvement beyond the branding. But Slam wasn't that. According to Rich Rosen, Hulk Hogan was all in. Every corner of the space was influenced by him. Every menu item, every wall graphic, every detail was chosen with intent. Rosen later told reporters that Hulk poured his heart into this project. And it shows. This wasn't just a place to grab a drink. It was a shrine to an era. A meeting ground for fans who grew up chanting, "What you gonna do?" while glued to their TVs. It was a space designed to celebrate not just the man, but the moments. Those unforgettable nights in the ring, the roar of the crowd, the electrifying entrances, and the myth that became Hogan. Rosen said it best. He shaped the spirit of what Slam was meant to be, a place where fans from around the world could gather at the very corner where his legend began, to celebrate his legacy. It's hard not to read that now and feel the weight of what's been lost. Because the grand opening, something Hulk was reportedly counting down to, will now happen without him. But that wasn't the only surprise surrounding his passing, and what came next would leave even longtime fans stunned. A mysterious farewell. The announcement hit like a thunderclap. Hulk Hogan, gone at 71. Fans around the world were stunned. This was the man who seemed larger than life, unstoppable in the ring, immortal in the eyes of millions. But in the quiet of his Florida home, far from the roar of any arena, the legend's final moments came without warning. Official reports stated Hogan died from acute myocardial infarction, what most know as a heart attack. It happened fast. Paramedics responded to a call for cardiac arrest, but it was already too late. And while the cause seemed clear on paper, what followed raised more questions than answers. Hogan had battled health issues before. He was known to suffer from atrial fibrillation, a condition that causes an irregular heartbeat, something that increases the risk of heart complications. But another detail surfaced that caught fans off guard. He'd also been diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Quietly, privately, with few details ever made public. There were no public statements, no interviews, no long hospital stays reported in the press. Just silence. It's still unclear how far the cancer had progressed or how long he'd been living with it. And for many fans, that silence has only deepened the mystery. Some speculate that Hogan kept it hidden to protect his image, to stay strong in the eyes of those who looked up to him. Others believe he simply didn't want the attention. Either way, his final days remain largely in the shadows. But if there was one place where the light still burned bright, it was the ring. And what the WWE did next made sure the world wouldn't forget. The WWE Tribute. The wrestling world didn't wait long to honor its fallen hero. Just days after Hulk Hogan's passing, WWE organized a heartfelt tribute that brought fans and wrestlers together in a moment of collective remembrance. At SummerSlam, held at MetLife Stadium, Nick Hogan was shown on the Jumbotron, not once, but both nights, receiving a thunderous applause from thousands of fans. The crowd's energy wasn't just about nostalgia, it was a shared moment of support for Hulk's family, and a reminder that his impact went beyond the ring. A few days before, the tribute had started at Monday Night Raw in Detroit, where WWE held their customary 10-bell salute, a tradition reserved for honoring legends who shaped the industry. The silence in the arena spoke volume, followed by a roaring ovation, as wrestlers and fans alike paid their respects. Wrestling insiders say the atmosphere was emotional, but filled with pride. Hogan wasn't just a star, he was a symbol of an era, a mentor to many, and a larger-than-life personality who inspired millions. In that moment, it was clear. Hulk Hogan's story wasn't just about his past. It was about how his legacy continues to influence the wrestling world today. And with Slam on the horizon, that legacy was about to take on a whole new form. What comes next? With the grand opening of Slam just months away, anticipation is already buzzing among Hulkamaniacs everywhere. Fans are eager to step inside the bar that promises more than just drink. It's a chance to connect with the legend's spirit, right where his journey began. Nick Hogan's visit signaled more than just a family check-in. It hinted at a future where he could take a more active role in preserving his father's legacy. Whether that means more appearances, managing the bar, or even expanding Hulk's brand remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The Hogan name is far from fading. In a world where legacies can quickly be forgotten, Slam stands as a bold statement that Hulk Hogan's story is still very much alive. It's a place where memories will be made, fans will gather, and the larger-than-life energy of the wrestling icon will continue to echo. The road ahead isn't just about mourning what's lost. It's about celebrating what remains and looking forward to what's yet to come. Because for Hulkamania, the show will always go on. Hulk Hogan's story has always been bigger than the man himself, a saga of triumph, heartbreak, and undeniable impact. From the roar of Madison Square Garden to the quiet corners of a bar under construction, his legacy lives on in unexpected ways. Slam isn't just a business, it's a tribute, a meeting place, and a symbol of how a legend's influence can stretch beyond the spotlight. It reminds us that even when the final bell rings, the spirit of a true icon never fades. Nick Hogan's role in this next chapter shows that the family's journey is just beginning, with new stories waiting to be told. And while the wrestling world continues to honor Hulk's memory, the fans, those Hulkamaniacs who've followed every twist and turn, are already looking ahead. In the end, Hulk Hogan's life was about connection between performer and fan, father and son, past and future. His legacy will forever echo, not just in the history books, but in the hearts of those who carry the torch. So, as Slam prepares to open its doors, one question remains. How will this new chapter reshape the legend of Hulk Hogan? Only time will tell.